Alright, so this is going to be a Drow Ranger replay analysis for Lem. He's playing the Drow this game. Just ignore the Crystal Maiden portrait, I guess. Uh, it's a game they won, but he asked me to look at it and see
Fortune and glory
what I
awaits.
thought about the game. So, looks like it's going to be mid-Drow, because this Phantom Assassin's going bottom. Um, Generally, so when you play mid, I would generally ask for tangos from a support. Um, that way, you can spend more item or gold on stats. That way, it makes it easier to last hit. So definitely try to get pool
Listen,
tangos.
bottom.
And definitely go for a little bit different of an item build. I would suggest an item
30
build kind of
seconds
like
to
this if you
battle.
were going safe lane, where you have all of this regen and the stats don't matter as much because you have a support that should be, harassing the off lane to secure your CS. Um, in the mid lane, not so much. I would probably recommend pool tangos, double slippers of agility, double ironwood branch, and a circlet, something like that. Um,
I
Obviously, you don't
always
get pool
wanted to
tangos
see an
every game.
ancient form.
Happens, but
Yeah, that
I would
stuff's
really
over.
suggest that
Don't
as your
make me
build.
come over there.
So it's actually going to be PA off lane. But yeah, so your stats are a little lacking. You have a bunch of regen, but with your having your own courier, you can always fly out a ton of regen. So it's a pretty okay block. So you want to make sure that you are harassing the enemy like you're doing, but don't do it. Make sure you're CSing more than you're harassing the enemy. So here, what you want to do is attack the Arc Warden and aggro your creeps back. Yep, just like that. And then what I would do here is I would walk up to this hill and get this range creep. Because he's probably going to deny it, and it looks like you're not going to get the deny on his range creep. He's not going to deny it. But what I would have done is I would have walked high ground and last hit that creep, because Arc Warden doesn't have a nuke or anything to really hit you with um, if you walk up and take that CS. And he's in a position where he was standing next to more of your creeps than you were next to his, so he would have tanked creeps by going, like, trading with you there. Again, you miss a range creep last hit because you're right-clicking this guy. And I would also try to deny these creeps here. But range creeps are super important in lane. They give a lot of XP. They give a lot more gold than your melee creeps. So
First blood!
I would prioritize making sure
First
you last hit
blood,
those over
and it's
right-clicking the
already
enemy hero.
icing over.
And then this is the problem with buying all this regen. Is like you could probably have a Wraith Band now. If Since his Arc Warden's playing pretty passively and not really committing any spells to you, you have 6 Tangos and Healing Salve, and uh, not a whole lot of stats. So here, looks like this Arc Warden's gonna kill you, or you get it actually.
I know I should
So
respect
the
the
way
dead, but first
Arc
you have to
Warden's
earn it.
Spark Wraith works is after it forms, it will fly to the nearest unit. So when he puts down Spark Wraiths in the middle of your creep wave, as long as you walk away from the Spark Wraith, you won't tank any damage from the Spark Wraith. And when you cast Flux, his Q on you, make sure to walk near your creeps, because you could have saved a whole lot of health had you just walked away from his spells in that fight. So here it looks like you're finishing your Wand and a Wraith Band. Here again, don't forget to try to aggro the creeps to your range creep. Make it a little easier for you.
Don't you dare.
Again, here you want to make sure that it tanks one of your creeps tanks that ability. So here, what I would have done. Let me go back a few seconds. It's so small, but it'll win you a lot of lanes. So you have this ward up here that's giving you vision. So especially low-level couriers walk extremely slow. So let's see. It happens a lot where this guy's playing really far forward. You have ward vision, and he's sending his courier to the mid lane. Should be coming any second. So what I would have liked for you to do here is you have more creeps than he does, so your wave's gonna push. So what I would do here is, you saw this courier coming because of your ward vision. I would have walked up to, about here, and force this guy to either cast spells on you, and then you just back up. And if he doesn't micro his courier away, you kill it. And as soon as he micros his courier away, you can walk back and leave it alone. Because he walks his courier here. So, like, if you had seen that courier coming and just stepped up here, you would have definitely just killed it, had he not microed it away. Obviously, it's a little harder on heroes like Drow, but you have to be super aware of that, especially on mobile heroes like Puck. They can just, like, jaunt forward and kill a courier really quickly.
Missing bottom.
You have good job always pulling your creeps back. Gonna get the deny on this range creep, maybe.
Denied.
So when he does this and he nukes it, yeah, you got it. Just deny the range creep immediately. He's making the mistake there. So here, you want to be careful when your wave's getting pushed on you, especially as a Drow with no range clear, or wave clear, because that's prime time for Arc Warden to set up with, Flux plus Spark Wraith, is when your last couple creeps are dying, and you don't have any creeps to run to remove the damage and slow that Flux applies to you. That's good zoning.
No.
This one's doing nicely.
So you accidentally tank that. So what I would start thinking about now is, now that you're going to max multi-shot and you have marksmanship, you can jungle really effectively with marksmanship plus multi-shot. So what I would like to see you do is walk up, nuke the wave, because Arc Warden has no real way to clear the wave, right? He has all single target abilities. So the best way to play against this hero now is just nuke the wave out under his tower, force him to last hit, and then go uh, multi-shot a creep camp. So what I would like to see you do now is buy some clarities and just go ramp up in the jungle and get ahead of this Arc Warden while you still can. Because this Arc Warden is going to buy a Midas, and you're not going to be able to outfarm him late game. So, like, you just spent, I don't know, 5 seconds, right? Just standing here waiting for the next creep wave to come.
Are you even trying?
So, what I would do here is I would, like, prep this range creep by hitting it a couple times, right? And then multi-shot the wave down. And now what you do is you back off. Like, you're going to cast abilities on this guy. He's going to do some damage to you. He has 6. So instead of doing that, you know, you lost a decent bit of health. I would have just gone back and stacked a jungle camp, because you're at 753 right now. And cleared a jungle camp, and then come back to lane. Doesn't look like you're ferrying out anything. I would complete another Wraith Band. Ferry it out to yourself with some mangoes or clarities. You're gonna dive him here, which is fine. You're gonna get the kill.
Chill out.
You also should be salving, yeah. You're gonna bring that out to yourself right now, or take it out of your backpack.
Missing bottom.
But let's check the last hits real quick. So you're top of the last hit chart by a lot, but you could definitely have, you know, 15 to 20 more CS by just having pushed out the lane. Like in this interim time between, you know, killing that last creep, if you had just multi-shot that wave and then gone to jungle, because you're only really using it if you think you can hit Arc Warden with it. But you're sitting at full mana a lot of the time, which is, you know, good because you're ready to fight, but you also need to be casting your abilities. Like, if you're at 100% mana and you have 3.3 mana regen a second, every second you're wasting 3 mana. So, doesn't seem like a lot, but over the course of a minute, you know, you're wasting somewhere near 100 mana, which is an entire multi-shot. Do you buy your treads here? I would be checking the runes. Yeah, you're going to go grab this one. But I would make sure you're checking the runes even if you're not a bottle hero. Because, you know, DD helps you lane better. Haste would probably let you go gank the side lane. You just want to keep that stuff in mind, even though you're not a bottle hero. So you don't have to commit to getting every single rune. But definitely check them and grab them if they're important. Like, I would just power shot this, like, prep these creeps and just power shot them.
Radiant's bottom tower
And now
still there,
I would
but not for long.
go back and jungle now. Because this Arc Warden's going to have a hard enough time clearing these creeps out anyways. Like, sure, you want to take his tower. But... So you're just standing here, and it's been
Radiant's
4
bottom
seconds.
tower needs a hand.
You're going to clear this wave. You spent about 6 seconds just standing there. And you're going to clear this wave, and then you're probably going to stand here and hit his tower again. Or try to dive him. He's not microing a second guy, which is fortunate for you. So you're actually gonna die here,
Leave for death.
which
Radiant's
is
bottom
unfortunate,
tower is
but
under attack.
go back a second. I don't think you really cast your abilities.
Radiant's bottom tower's still there, but not for long.
Alright, so you decide you're gonna dive him here, I think. So what I would do is I would silence him, and then you have multi-shot too, and you use neither.
Killing spree!
If you had used silence
For
or
Radiant's
multi-shot,
bottom tower
I
needs a
think you
hand.
you kill him and get to walk away. Albeit at really low health, so he's obviously having trouble microing a zero. But just make sure you're casting your abilities. Also, the slow duration of a frost arrow is 1.5 seconds, 1.6 seconds, 1.5 seconds. So, I wouldn't just always use frost arrows, especially early on in the game when you can't support, your mana pool doesn't support just chucking frost arrows constantly. Only like, you know, one in so many attacks has to be frost arrow, even though it gives you some bonus damage.
Heads up, we're back.
Like, your multi-shot does so much damage that you shouldn't have to worry about it.
Dire's middle tower's in trouble. Which one's Dire again?
You place a ward right where you already have a ward, which is okay. I'm gonna fast forward through this because I think it's just gonna be the same thing of you just standing, not making super good usage of your time,
Killing spree!
and just pushing this tower.
Top is missing.
Dire's putting up a barricade.
Which is fine, you get the tower kill, which is good.
Dire's middle
You don't,
tower
he's actually
has
gonna
been
deny it, which is super
denied.
big for him.
Fresh meat.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So again, you're doing a lot of just standing around. You should be hitting, yeah, jungle camps.
Radiant's bottom tower needs a hand.
Because you really want to hit your, you know, your first couple items and then go push down towers, because that's what Drow does.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And, you know,
Radiant's
it's
bottom
14 minutes in
tower
the
is
game,
under
the laning
attack.
stage is kind of over. And you're kind of just playing it like
Double
an
damage.
extension of the laning stage. Like, you're going to
Dire's
go hit
middle
this
tower
tower
looks to be disintegrating.
and run around and look for kills.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Which is fine, but, you know, you have to be getting the kills
Dominating.
while you're doing it. Also, if you want to go like top and look for a kill, you could jungle a
Radiant's
couple
bottom
camps.
tower
Like,
needs a hand.
just don't spend so much time
Bottom
standing
tower is
around.
under attack. Radiant's bottom tower needs
You
a
get your
hand.
Dragon Lance.
Radiant's bottom tower must have been
So, generally what I see is like Dragonlance plus Yasha or get the full Hurricane Pike and then they start pushing towers down. So you recognize that this bottom half the map's warded, and you got pretty good vision, so it's pretty safe. Which means you should probably push it out and pressure this tower. But you come mid to fight.
Make my rap easier.
So one thing to think about there is this Lich ball was hitting you and bouncing to these creeps, which means if we check free camera. Okay, so they don't have a ward here. This Pudge must have been standing over here to give them vision of those creeps.
Radiant called in the fortifications.
But now,
Middle
see, you come to
tower's
this
under
fight that
attack.
you guys can't really take because your bottom lane got
Dire's
demolished,
putting a hurt on Radiant's middle tower.
and your team wasn't ready to fight that,
Dire's
so you kind
bottom
of just
tower
came,
Don't look
you got
good.
the Arc Warden kill, and then just stood around some more. And sure, you have the highest CS in the game, you're like at 88 CS or whatever, 90 in 17 minutes, but, you know, you could have easily had close to 100 in 15 minutes or whatever. Um,
Invisibility.
Again, you're kind of only using power shot or multi-shot to hit enemy heroes with, and you're not really clearing camps with it, which I feel like
Dire's
you should
bottom
be doing
tower is
more.
under attack.
What a frozen waste.
Top is missing.
One of you could have picked up that jungle item in that camp and, send it to base. It looks like you're going to finish your Hurricane Pike.
Radiant's top tower's about to topple.
Top is missing.
Also, don't forget that you have TP scrolls. You don't really TP anywhere. Like, obviously you want to save the TPs because you're committing to a certain part of the map whenever you TP. But you're doing a lot of, like, walking all the way mid, walking all the way bottom, and you walk all the way top to take this tower. You get a kill because Quack walks up. You guys, but this is kind of what you want to do. You want to get your Hurricane Pike, get your first item or so, and you want to just push towers down.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You guys should... So you should just take that tower. Like, you do so much damage to towers, and you got a kill, and your whole team was up there. There's no reason to, back up in jungle.
Double damage.
Like, Drow is this, hits his mid-game timing where she's very powerful, wants to hit towers and just use her auras. Really pressure the enemy team.
Missing.
Which, like, you're in that time where you should be doing that, and you're, just running around looking for kills. And you're not really pressuring any towers either. Obviously, I'm unsure if this Archwarden's going to be able to carry the game. Just because of his lack of micro. But in a higher level game, you would be worried about this Archwarden because his bubble is very good against you. A lot of pro teams were picking Archwarden at the last major, I think, or last minor, against Drow Ranger just because of the bubble. And if the Drow has a hard time, hitting her mid-game timing and pressuring all the towers and, creating a strong advantage for her team, Archwarden with double Midas eventually takes over the game.
Dire's top tower is about to be Radiant's top rubble.
So you're going for your Manta style, which is good. Helps you against, helps you purge off Flux, silence from Quap's eventual Orchid. But let's look at the net worth.
Dire's middle
Okay,
tower
so
looks to be disintegrating.
this Archwarden's only 600 behind you, and you kind of trashed the lane that you were in. Which is, it still happens in my games too, where, like, I get destroyed in lane and just go jungle, and the other mid, stands there and waits for the next creep wave, or just, like, hits the tower for 3 minutes or whatever, and I end up coming out of the jungle at a higher level with more or less hits than they do.
Tower's getting pushed around. Double kill. Dire's bottom tower.
So it's something to think about.
Sound of mine.
So, like, I feel like that's just the biggest thing to take away from this game. I see it probably being a problem all game. So I'm going to try to stop harping on it so much so I don't just talk about the same thing for the whole duration of the game, but it does feel like you're just... I can't remember if I remembered you TPing anywhere this game. I'll keep that in mind. But you need to use your TPs, you need to spend less time standing and watching, and more time, hitting creeps. Like, you don't have any vision, so it's kind of scary to push out, but if all their heroes are showing on the map mid and bottom like they just did, you should be up here pushing this wave into their tower. Like, they showed... So right now, they showed a Pudge here, or down on this half of the map. You have Queen of Pain, and you have Troll Warlord. If you think about it, who kills you this game? if you're split pushing. Quap if she has Orchid, but she's showing bottom. Troll plus a support kills you. And Pudge plus 1 kills you. Pudge was just showing down here. The other heroes that you're worried about killing you are right here. So what's your other threat? Arc Warden killing you? You can just Force Staff TP away from an Arc Warden. So what you should be doing is you should be probably hitting this top tower. Because they're pressuring this bottom tower, so you want something, and you can't fight them right now, right? You guys have tried fighting them, and you're a little bit behind. They have a better team fight than you. So the only thing you can do is avoid fights and pressure the opposite side of the map that they are. So what I would be doing is I'd be hitting this top tower. Now you're going to TP back. They've already backed off, and, you know, they've forced you guys to TP, and now you're stuck on this bottom half of the map. You guys are going to take a fight, it looks like. Stay a little bit longer than they should. You get a kill. So again, like, you're walking mid. Obviously I can't see your communications, but you only push out to here, and then instead of, like, what I would have done is I would have taken the wave here, take this wave, and then hit, like, jungled your way mid. If your goal is to be mid at some point with your team, unless you guys are immediately smoking or, like, trying to take an objective here, I would, you know, take the extra time to make sure you get CS while you're moving around the map.
Middle is missing.
Because you walked here immediately mid, and now you're going to stand here because I think you guys are prepping for them to push mid, or you guys want to take a fight mid or something, and you kind of just, you know, spend a whole lot of time walking around. So yeah, make sure when heroes that are pressuring, like, heroes are showing on the map that can kill you, that you're punishing them for showing on the map, and you're pushing out waves as you need to, safely, obviously. Nice Manta usage, get free kills because you're crazy. That was a good fight.
Just as well.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Now you're probably just gonna go high ground, right?
Tower's falling.
So you got 3 dead, no Troll Warlord for 20 seconds. Gonna go bottom and get this tier 2.
With gratitude.
So what I would do now is I would TP top,
Radiant's top tower ain't
because you
looking
already
too
have 2 heroes that are gone, and shove that wave out.
Invisibility.
unstoppable.
PA is gonna kill everybody.
Very cool of you.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The self is made whole.
So you gotta start thinking about when you win fights. You guys are gonna go take this top tower, I hope. But you really gotta think about like when you take a fight
Dire's
and you
top
get a lot of
tower is
kills,
about
you
to
need
be
to push
razed.
objectives, especially as a Drow Ranger.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
And now you have to start thinking about what's your condition to go high ground. It's probably first you
Dire's
want to work
top
on
tower
getting
is
both
about
of
to
these
be
tier
razed.
2 towers down, and then you probably want to get a pick off, go Roshan. There's a lot of jungle items on the ground that I would probably pick up and put in your stash in your base. Looks like you guys are gonna take a fight here. You guys get Roshan.
Man, him and that agent.
So now all you need to do is win a fight. Uh, this troll's out of position. They're just kind of feeding you guys now. So now you guys are gonna go mid, or half your team's gonna go mid.
Mega kill!
So I would have gone mid with your team to go high ground, because you just killed their whole team. So getting this tier 2 is alright, but definitely more important to go high ground with your
Dire's
team.
middle barracks has fallen. Dire's top tower has fallen. Dire's top barracks has fallen. Whoa! Godlike! Double kill! Dire's top barracks are under attack. Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah, you guys are just too split up. I'm not sure it matters now, because you guys are very far ahead, and both of their other cores are very poor. So you're gonna end up winning this game. You're going Sanj and Yasha on top of Manta. So I wouldn't go this. I would obviously buy BKB. Buying double Yasha items is not the best. Also, you want a defensive item.
This
Just never
should make
forget
my
about
life
BKB.
easier.
Is a
Like
great
if you BKB top against that Pudge and Arc Warden and just hit them, they and the Lich, they all just die for sure.
boy, fresh mate.
You guys are just too far ahead. But yeah, something to think about. You mentioned that you can't CS because of some ping in this game, but you did fine CSing. Like, you're very far ahead in CS this game. Arc Warden seemed like you played the Arc Warden lane alright, but
Dominate Radiant showing
imagine if you had a BKB plus another item. Like how much easier this game would have been. Like, sure, you guys kind of walked over this game,
Dire's middle tower is under
but make sure you're looking at defensive options for yourself,
Dire's top barracks
and
has fallen.
you are
I like where this is going.
not wasting so much time, especially in the laning stage.
Dire agent collapsed.
Overall, I think your CSing was fine. You took fights semi-appropriately. Sometimes you didn't cast your spells, but that's okay. But some things to take away from that game is make sure that you're wasting less time. So especially against heroes with no wave clear in the mid lane, that you're shoving the lane under their tower and going to hit jungle camps and stacking jungle camps in between. Because you probably spent a good 40 seconds of the laning stage, minute of the laning stage, just standing waiting for the next wave to come. And pushing the enemy's mid tower is very important, but not as important as you know, accumulating a gold advantage from a lane that you've won. So that Arc Warden ended up only 2k behind you in a lane that he just lost very hard in. Obviously, he probably went to Midas and he was getting double Midas gold. But that's the advantage to Arc Warden is, in certain lane matchups he's great, but he generally doesn't do a whole lot of damage. But he does get to double Midas, buys BOTs, and split pushes around the map. Eventually gets back in the game. Um, so just make sure that you're pushing an advantage that you have. You spent a lot of time walking around when I felt like you could have TP'd. Um, and when you're walking certain places on the map, make sure you're just hitting jungle camps while you're walking, especially if you have an ability like multi-shot that you can use to clear camps quickly. So I also wouldn't do this Mantis style plus Sanjin Yasha, but I would pick one or the other and then go for another item. Like if you want Sanjin Yasha for um, more health, which is why I would assume you'd want the Sanjin Yasha, you could have just bought. You already have Butterfly Manta. You already have so much agility that this extra Yasha is not going to do a whole lot for you. Um, I would have just bought a BKB. It gets you 10 damage, right? And it gives you some a defensive option. It lets you, let's say you have to Manta style something off, and then Quaff silences you. Obviously, she wasn't doing that much damage that game. She kind of just died every time she went on you. But having a second defensive option is great. Um, but other than that, I think your CSing was fine. Definitely work on. There's a lot to work on, especially lost time in the laning stage. But overall, I think you played great.